Yay!
Hey, hello,
Hello,
education monster. Here we have
hello,
Franciele from Brazil. Welcome. I'm so happy
hello,
to have you. And
hello, guys. Thank you so much, Aurelie.
ooh,
Thanks for having me. Okay, did I
French
say your
accent.
name right?
Yes, that's some French
Oh,
accent in there.
yeah, Aurelie. I love this name. I love this name now. Like it's like my favorite name now.
Oh,
Aurelie.
thanks. And it's
I
funny how
love
you're
it.
telling me that people thought that your name was French because of Franciele, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I don't know where people took this information, but they are like, oh, Franciele, Franciele. Oh, so it seems like from France, like a French name. So, oh, your name is French. I was like, I don't think so. Yeah,
like saying that Paris Hilton is from Paris. Really?
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, like the same, point of view. But no, my name. I guess my name. They like it seems like I don't know Italian name, something like this, but it's not from. It's not from France. I don't know exactly the meaning, but it's not from France. It's not France Yale because of France. But I really wanna say, like, first of all, I really wanna say thank you for having me.
Oh,
This experience would be like amazing. I'm super excited. I'm kind of nervous, so I'm like a little bit now, but I'm gonna relax. I have my water here, so I'm drinking a little bit of water, and I'm hoping that we can have a super good talk. Okay, for this beautiful students that you have.
oh, definitely. I'm excited for two reasons. Number one is the fact that this is the official first video of the podcast for Education Monsters. Thank you for pushing it. And second of all, I'm so excited because I'm going to tell my listeners, but we don't actually know each other. We met through a friend, a common friend. And I'm even more excited because we had a previous talk before just to chat and make sure that we're on the same page. And everything that I found out about Franciele like made me laugh. She's such a hilarious person. So
Oh
funny
my god.
discussing. And actually, the most common, like the biggest common point is we both italki teachers, so we can exchange.
Yes.
This is super cool. So let me ask you, how were your morning classes? Today's Friday, so how's your pace?
Wow. Yeah, it was really good. I just had one class, and actually here today, I don't know in other. You can tell me like if it's holiday in other countries, but here is like I don't like a holy Friday or something like this. Like a sand Friday something.
Yeah.
And I don't know it's in other countries, but here is like holiday. But some students they got this the holiday. Other ones they're like, no, teacher, I'm gonna work normally so we can have class. But just one, I had just one student today, like during the morning at 7 a.m. in the morning. So I gave the class. So I went jogging a little bit, and after I came back, I was like, oh my god, I need to get ready for this conversation because I'm super excited. Like, oh, I was having like a heart attack. I'm so super duper duper excited since yesterday. I was like, oh my god, I really want to do a good job. I really want to talk good things about the students and to Aurelie. So my morning was really cool, getting ready. I gave this class, I got ready, so, and I'm here. And tell me about your morning. How was your morning?
My morning was good, but actually the story started yesterday when you sent me the message, can we do a video? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the universe telling me that you need to move your ass and start making more videos. Because you know what? I was
Really?
procrastinating on my
Wow.
YouTube channel and everything. And I'm like, you know what? If you put makeup in the morning, you might as well recycle that makeup and do a freaking video using that green screen in the
Yeah.
and make 6 videos. That's it. Because
Yeah.
putting on makeup takes so long, you know?
Yeah. 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 I just put makeup on just to record like videos to my YouTube channel. And actually, before we start, I recorded a video to Instagram Reels,
Ooh, yes.
like was very quick, like I'm gonna send you after, like it's like a scene that, because sometimes I don't know if we spoke about this, but sometimes I'm giving a class, and sometimes I forget a word, and I tell to my students like, oh, 1 second, I'm gonna look this like on my on the dictionary. And sometimes like I feel like my students could think like, is she gonna look at the dictionary? But she's a teacher, so I made a scene. I made a scene like, are you gonna look at the dictionary? And I was like, yes, but are you are you a teacher? But you're looking at the dictionary. Like, it's not possible. Like, oh, it's not possible that sometimes we forget words.
I know.
It's normal.
We're human, and I think that's the most humble thing you could do to your students, and to say, I
Yeah.
don't know, because we're not
Yeah.
experts in everything, and they have their own niche, they have their own questions, and everybody's
Yes.
interest. So it's difficult
Mhm.
to just know everything for everybody. So we can only know like
Yeah.
too much about what we know. But then if you don't know, you don't know. But like, it reminds me
Yeah.
of a story. Actually, this is hilarious because I was getting a shot. I think it was for hepatitis B or hepatitis A. Like, I was going to travel, like it was some years ago, and I went to the nurse, and she's like, I don't think I've ever heard of this vaccine. And she starts like going through her cabinets and taking this real old dusty book. Like, I'm not even kidding to you, like Francesa, like the oldest thing. It looks like it was falling apart and eaten by mice because the ink was yellow. So she took out the book, and she's like, how, like going down the list, like how, like what's the dosage, how should I use this? And she's like, okay, fine. And just like in front of me, chill, like I didn't see it. And then she puts it back, and it's like, okay, so I think this is the right one. Like
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This was very humble from her, but could be like, I don't know, about for your health, it could be dangerous, but you're fine, at least you're fine.
I mean, maybe that's why I'm crazy, but
yeah. You're fine, so it's good, it was good. You survived, that's the point. That's the main point. But yeah, sometimes I literally forget things. And sometimes like for me is like, sometimes I know the word, but I want to be like 100% sure that I can use that word in that certain way. So I'm like, oh, let me look at here, like just a second, like let's make sure. Like the other day, I don't know, I was talking to a friend, and actually to a student, and he was like, oh, in Portuguese you say sorteio, but it's almost like a giveaway, it's almost like a giveaway. And he was like, oh, I'm having this, in my work, and I need to write an email to some people, and about this like giveaway, but I saw another term for this, and I was like, oh, what is the term? And he was like, oh, I saw prize draw, like, and I was like, okay, fine, prize draw. Let's make a research, to see which one is the best. And I was like, in my mind, I always heard about like giveaway, but I don't know in this context would be good for you. So we need to make a research. So we made a research, and I was like, oh, maybe prize draw will be like better for you. And he was like, oh, and after he was like, oh, I send the email, the clients, they just love it. They understood everything. I was like, oof, okay, good. So prize draw was okay. It was fine. But I'm very humble at this point, because we need to face the fact that we don't hold the whole the all the knowledgement of the world. We don't know. We don't hold everything.
Yes.
And but sometimes do you feel like this? Like sometimes do you forget something, or you need to check it out?
Oh, 100%.
How you feel?
100%. It especially like depends on the level of the student. So sometimes with beginners, it flows. So there's a lot of words like, you know, especially common expressions like hello, how are you? Like you don't need to look this up, but like when it comes to more advanced and when I have students like tell me, can we read this book like out loud together? And I know this is a difficult book. I already have, you know, like half the screen is Skype and half the screen is Lingui. So I prepare myself, and you know, I think people are aware that it's best to show compassion and kindness and have the right listening methods rather than knowing a lot. I think knowing a lot is useless because we have the internet, so most people would refer to websites anyway. But I think what's most important is the connection you have with the tutor who's non-judgmental, who's not going to be like, no, dude, it's not that. Like it's to listen and to be there and to be more of an accountability partner. So you're here to make sure that they do their homework, that they progress in the language more than, you know, like throwing out facts. This is like old-fashioned school. So
it's like an old method that it doesn't fit anymore nowadays. You know, it doesn't fit because it's not possible that you just throw things on your students' face and they're like, oh, okay, go ahead. Now you can absorb and
I know
it's
you don't
okay.
like a sponge, you know?
No one is a sponge. So how come the person will go absorb something and, you know, and just gonna, you know, think about in the perfect way. You know, it's language is more than this. You know, I feel like language is more than this. And one fact that like you mentioned beginners. I love teach beginners. I love because, you know, we can see the progress like even more, you know, like you start from zero, because I started, you know, teaching English like from zero on my social media, and I see the progress of like people like, oh, since like, you know, the hi, the hello, the numbers, you know, oh, ordinal numbers, teacher, I don't know how to say this, oh my god, this th noise, like how can I say this, teacher? For God's sake, help me, please. Okay, let's do it together. Let's try it together. And when they get, and when they understand, they're like, oh my God, they got it. And this feeling is so good for me, you know, like to teach, you know, and to see the progress. It's like, it's something that, you know, it's the best feeling in the world for me, you know, to teach a person. I don't know if you feel in the same way, but I'm really glad, you know, that I have, it's almost like a gift from God, you know, that God gave it to us to teach people and let them able to, you know, to discover the world, to discover other things, you know. I don't know if you feel the same thing.
Oh yeah, and you know, we have like a purpose. We have a purpose in life, and sometimes it's to help others like accomplish something. And this is like you finding your niche, and I'm so happy for you that you get like this enjoyment. I think I get the same thing, but it's slightly different because I do enjoy beginners. They're a lot of fun because it's like babies, you know, it's like,
yes, that's the point.
Like so innocent, and you're like, oh, okay, it's okay. You don't have to do everything. You can just take half hours at a time. So
yeah. And sometimes like even with my, like, because I teach English for kids and for like young adults and sometimes like for older people. But even though I'm teaching like young adults, we make like, you know, we make a party when they, you know, when they answer something correctly. I'm like, hey, good job. You're like, you go for it, you know. And they were like, oh, did you really? That you think I did a good job? I'm like, yes, you did a good job. And they're like so happy, you know, and make them, you know, want to make more progress, you know. And it's amazing.
It's so I think it's so important to have that validation, because I don't think that this is so common in school. You know, in school, like the traditional like school level is the one direction of the teacher saying everything and the student shutting up and just having to absorb the knowledge. But there's no like, oh, you did a good job, because then becomes like you have favorites, and it's not something that happens, especially in big classrooms. So I think that when you get the one-on-one, you get not only the attention, you also get like, you know, the teacher is going to be honest. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, then we don't have to like have the comparison with others that you did less bad than them. Like you just going, this is what's important.
Yeah.
But so this is interesting.
I super agree. I super duper duper.
I mean,
I like beginners, and I like kids too. Because I started like when I became a teacher, I started with like kids, like, but actually, I started before, because I don't know if I mentioned, because I'm talking, since then I'm talking and talking and talking, and I didn't, introduce myself.
oh my God,
Because
she
I
was the
talk too
first
much,
person.
Yeah, I didn't talk to you guys about me. So I'm Francesa. I'm an English teacher. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Brazil, and I was an au pair in the United States. So I don't know if you guys heard about it. It's an au pair program. It's an government program, and you can go there with like a specific visa, and you work, travel, and take care of kids. So you live with an American host family, and so this is a totally different experience, because you're inside the house. You need to, you live the language. I had a kind of hard time there, but it was good for me. In the end it was good for me because I became fluent. I got like a lot of language tricks. I got like a good accent, and I always tell to my students, like, it's not because I talk like this, like with almost like an American accent, that you should talk like me. That's not the point. Like, each person has their own accent, and it's amazing. I just have this accent because I lived with Americans, so I got this, this tricks, and I lived there, and I always helped my host kids with homeworks, so reading books, doing like math homework and this kind of thing. So I started to kind of like teach, like help them and teach them, like make your researches and this kind of thing. And this experience helped me to become like a better teacher. When I came back to Brazil, I started, like at the beginning I started, in a company, in a big company, but after I was like, wow, you know what? This is not for me. A big company, my team was really good, but the work was like not that good. I'm not gonna say like bad words here,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not gonna say because we are being like very respectful here. But my other work was really, really bad, and I was like, well, I need to find something, something else to do. And since I arrived in Brazil, since I came back to Brazil, my friends were like, oh, you need to teach me English. And I was like, oh no, I can't, I'm not able to teach you English. And they're like, but you're fluent. You lived in the United States, like you lived in the United States twice, first as a student and after as an au pair. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can do it. And they're like, no, but I really need classes. Can you be my teacher? And I was like, mm-mm. I was always denying, I was like, no, I can't. Even though my whole family, I have like 95% of my family, we have like teachers, like Portuguese teachers, they are like principals at some schools, regular teachers, they wrote books, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I cannot be a teacher, and they're like, please, please, please. And when I left my previous job, I have a friend, and he owns a school like near my older house. And one day, like suddenly, I just left my other job. He didn't know that I left the job. He called me and said, you know what, I'm here with some kids, that they want to learn English, and you're gonna be their teacher. And I was like, really? And I was like, are we not going to make an interview or something? He was like, no, you're going to be their teacher. You can start like come over here on Saturday and at 9 a.m. And you're gonna start. And I was like, what? Like, what? Do I have a job now? Like me. And he was like, yes, you. I don't have like no one else in my mind. Even though you were working, you can work here on Saturdays. And I was like, oh, actually, I don't have a job anymore. I'm not working anymore. Maybe I can be the teacher in your school. And he was like, fine, okay, so you're gonna be the teacher. And I was like, oh my God, no way.
It's like when you expected the least that it happens, like you're not even thinking about it, you're not even looking for it, but it's like
yes.
the universe be like, here, take that.
Yes. And then like
lemons, make lemonades.
But yeah, just go, and after this I got like I felt like it could be like very important to me to get a ESL certification. So now, like nowadays I have the certification. So because you need to know, like, even though we have this this facility to teach English, it's good when you have a method. I feel that's important to have a method and to know what you're talking about. It's not like just to know the language, because I made a course, and they made like a question, like they made like an affirmation, like, oh, everyone who knows the language can teach the language. And they're like, do you agree with this, or do you disagree? And actually I disagree, because sometimes you can be native, you can be fluent, but it's like teaching is more than to know rules and to know the language. It's more than this. I don't know what you think, but because I'm talking too much.
What's happening actually in academia and research. It's not because you have a PhD that you can be a professor. It has nothing to do, like pedagogy, especially with kids. I feel like it's so delicate. And just to go back on what you were saying before, the fear of saying yes because, oh, I didn't think I could do it. I feel like we all went through this phase before doing our italki video. It's the fact that we didn't have, like the linguistics degree, we didn't have the background, and we're like, who are we to do that? So it's so common that a lot of people believed in us more than we believed in ourselves. And this is what's sad. Like, we shouldn't be this way, but we are this way.
Yeah, we cannot help. It's like it just happened. I don't even know.
Yeah, everybody else was telling you, do that, be a teacher, and you're the only one telling yourself you're like you are your only obstacle in the end.
Yes, right on. Right on the point. Because I was like so afraid. And even though people like what people are like telling me, not just about to become a teacher, like to become a YouTuber, to work with social media, people are like, oh, you are so talkative, you're really good on cameras, you really like the cameras, you really like to take pictures, you talk in public, you have no problem with that, maybe you should consider like to become a YouTuber. And I was like, no way, no, I cannot do it. And now I am a YouTuber now.
Yeah, and it's so much fun, like to live the dream that you're supposed to live, like to live your purpose. That's the most fun part.
Yeah, and I just remember that you said about the italki video. When I was applying for italki, I was like, oh, how's gonna be my video, because my students, they say like when you open the platform, there's a lot of a lot of videos, and I was like, oh, they're gonna open and they're gonna see a lot of videos. How I'm gonna be like, how I'm gonna highlight myself, to to get more more students. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna make a video like a YouTube video, and I was like, yeah, maybe it's that. So I sent it, and I sent and they received. And okay, fine, I became a tutor on italki. And after weeks, I just had like a student from, like, she's Brazilian, but she used to live in Italy. and I was like, oh, thank you so much for, to schedule this class. And I was like, did you know me from my social medias? And she was like, no, I didn't find you, like, I just found you here and I talking. And I was like, oh, fine. And she was like, but you know what? I loved your introducing, like, your video's introduction, because
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And she was like, oh, I watched it like 10 times. And I was like, why? She was like, I don't know. This video is so good. And I was like, why are you watching me 10 times? And she was like, I don't know. I just love it. It's so, I don't know. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like, yeah, I'm really glad you like it, but it's weird for me when people say, oh my God, I love that video. I watch it like 100 times and da 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 da. And I was like, ooh, it doesn't seem like, but I'm kind of shy sometimes, and people like,
yes.
when people are giving me compliments, and I'm like, oh yeah, fine, that's good. I'm glad you like it, but why you're watching it like 10 times? So like, no, but because the way that you talk is so nice, and you have a good accent. So I really think that we can work together, and we are working since then. Jacqueline is a really nice student, and but sometimes people, they believe in us more than ourselves. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and they really like. Sometimes I post something, they're like, and I'm like, oh, people, they're not gonna like, or they're gonna laugh at me like, oh, this girl, like, what is this girl doing? But yeah,
I feel like this is a great compliment, because I think it comes from a sane person who's like well-intentioned. But do you think if a creepy guy would have said this, I watched it 10 times, do you think it'd be like, report, bye?
report. Yes. Like, stop, bye.
Delicate question. I still wanted to ask you, like, what are the creeps you got on italki?
Actually, just 3. Just 3. Since last year, just 3. And one guy, like, they are like random guy, like weird, super weird guys. And some of them, like, I don't even know why people take their precious time to make a fake profile and try to reach you out on italki. Like, it doesn't make sense in my mind why people are doing this. It doesn't make sense at all, like, why are you doing this?
But it's not like the italki tutors have money anyway. Like, who do you think you're scamming?
Yeah, like, what the heck? It doesn't make sense for me. And one of them, like, he fill up the form, and I was like, oh, he wants to make like I don't know, once a week and blah 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 blah. And extra comment, are you single?
Oh,
and I was like,
girl,
I was like, come on,
report.
I was like, report. I was like, what the heck, you guys? Really? Are you guys doing this to me? Like, right now? Okay. In 2021? Like,
okay, we gotta give credit where credit is due. Are you single is a correct English sentence.
Yeah, okay. You don't need lessons. Bye. So you're right. You don't need lessons. Bye. But there was another one that sent me a message like, oh, I live in New York, and I am very rich, and I can give you a lot of money, and I can bring you to the United States. Like, what the heck?
Green card.
Yeah, give you a green card. I went twice to the United States. I had a chance to get a green card, but because he's sending me a message. Okay, now I'm going. Oh no, now I have to go. I cannot miss. Yeah, of course, I cannot miss this
tomorrow.
Yeah, please. But did you have this kind of message too, or for
Of
you
course
it's
I did.
really?
Of course I did. Yes.
My
So
God.
I had one guy from Montreal. He was asking me out on a date after the second lesson. So he doesn't live too far from me. I mean, I never tell my address or anything, but I'm like, okay, I'm in this neighborhood. You're not too far. You're like 2 metro stations away. So close enough. But then he was like, so I heard about this museum exhibit. Are you free on Saturday? I'm single too, just to let you know. And I was like, don't think so. No, I'd rather keep this professional. I had this guy from Toronto, like this another student from Toronto, like pulling out the same thing. He booked a French class with me, but like the whole time spoke in English, not a single word of French, not a single one, like for nothing. It was an entire hour, like francese, and 1 hour, so excruciating, where you're just like smiling, being professional.
Look,
Sure.
be professional. Be
And
professional. You need this. You need this money.
I know.
It's. Oh my God.
Professional.
Jesus
Just listen. It
Christ.
made
I can't believe.
And he was like, so how's the dating scene in Montreal? How are the girls there? Do you think they're open? Do you think that they're sexual? Like all those very inappropriate things. And I'm like, I don't know. I actually have no idea. For me, like playing dumb like works for me because
Yeah.
like if you don't enter their game, they will stop. But if you start
Yeah.
like, no, what you're doing is dumb shit, like this is very inappropriate, like then they'll fight you, like they'll debate with you. But if you start like playing dumb, this is when they leave you alone. And I had like the creepiest. Okay, I kept it for the end. Is a 63-year-old tiny dude, 5'4", who sent me selfies shirtless in the mirror, and he's if I'm so short and if you just crop out my head, my body would look actually really, really nice for a 63-year-old. And you know what? If you want Canadian citizenship, I can marry you for $5,000. And I'm like, no, thanks.
No, thank you. I'm good.
I think I'd rather not.
Not. I can come back, to my country.
Never. Let me be clear. Never is the key word.
I cannot believe that.
That was
Jesus.
so gross. And like he took a lot of classes with me. That's the thing. Like he could not
Really?
get that I was just, being like a stone, just not reacting and being super like it was so cringy that I was just like I felt constipated. It was like, oh my gosh, I just can't answer to that.
Yeah, because like you're like, oh, like trying to,
So he had the fetish on Asian women. So he would go to the Buddhist to do his little market, and then he would come to my class to tell me what he found and be like, I went to the supermarket, and in the sushi section there was this woman I really liked. I came to talk to her, and I just find out she had a husband, so then I had to pass out, but I had to pretend to buy sushi to go talk to her. And then he would tell me like all these, and then he would also take italki tutors with Asian women. Then he would talk to them about their sexual life, and then he would tell me about their sexual life, and I'm like, this is inappropriate. You shouldn't be telling me this, even though you don't tell me that.
Yes.
I don't think it's appropriate to share this kind of information. And he's like, no, just to tell you that she has this kind of experience. Do you think Asian women have sex like this? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I cannot talk for all Asian women. This is not an appropriate conversation to begin with, but also my personal experience like should not be shared, or like any personal experience should not be
this is like a language platform, like guy chill out, Jesus Christ, like shut up. Jesus, how can you deal with this? I couldn't deal with that, really. I'm telling you. I didn't have this experience yet.
I think
fortunately I won't have, but I didn't have this experience.
I could have invested in earbuds. It would have been better.
Yeah. Yes. My God, I didn't have this kind of like my experience in with italki. They are always good. I have like there's a student that he lives in Canada, and he's is Indian. He's Indian, but he lives in, he's Indian and he lives in Canada. And like we had like a last class, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I don't remember. And he was like, he started to ask me like weird things. Now I'm like realizing that you're like talking to me. And he was like, can you stand up, and can I see that if you're short or if you're tall? And I was like, no, I'm a short woman, I'm very short. And he was like, no, but I want to see, I always see you like sitting on your chair, and sometimes I'm so dumb, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stand up. And I was like, see, I'm like a normal person. And I just came back to my chair, and I was like, after I was like, no kidding. I was like, oh, guy, but they're like, I don't know, I didn't realize it, but like other students, I never had this with other students, never. It's like the only thing that I have that I had with some student is like, was like some of them, they want like amazing classes, like with song, with fireworks and this, and they want to pay like $5, and I'm like, it's not possible,
No,
if you want a good class, you need to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I'm gonna create a class, I'm gonna try to find like articles and references and this kind of thing, and it costs, but some of them, they don't want to pay, and I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm on vacation, I cannot attend, we cannot have classes anymore. Oh, really? But I was really enjoying. I was like, oh, I'm sorry,
no,
I can't.
I think that people tend to view us as, okay, we're doing this for fun, we're doing this because we're passionate, we don't need the money, but it's not true. It's our job. Like, we need to pay for rent, we need to pay for food, and it's also important that we respect our work. So for example, trial classes, I don't have them. I don't do trial classes for $1 or $2 or $4, whatever, because I think that a lot of people then see your class as being cheap if you give them with a cheap price. And I have few exceptions where people told me, it's the pandemic, my finances are tight, I really like your profile, so could you please like try to give me a discount? And I'm like, no problem, because you had the balls to ask, you had the courage and understand that this is temporary, and I know we're all in this case, and we're lucky enough to have a job online, so we're not too affected by the pandemic. But I see that, okay, I can take the compassion and just lower for the first class, like by a lot, like, okay, fine. And I know that. And then I learned that this person had mental issues, so I know it's tough. And then it goes on afterwards, like, hey, could you please like lower the class again for the second class? And I'm like, okay, but this is the last time, because there are a lot of teachers who could take the class for less, but I actually took all the time to design all my exercises, my PDF, like everything's personalized, that I don't think that we're back to being $10 an hour. So then like okay, then here's my phone number in case you want to. He was in Montreal too, so he's like, if you don't want to take classes with me because there's a money obstacle, then here's my phone number, we can maybe take a coffee together. And I'm like, what the, like, no, like, if you were
What's the
classes,
point?
I know, but then like, with retrospect, looking at all the people who met at work, how is this different from all the creeps trying to get dates? Because people find their soulmates like wherever they can. Like, people are hunters.
I agree 100%. I agree. I don't know about these dudes. What happened in their minds? They think that, this girl here is available for classes. Well, maybe she's available for dates. But this is not Tinder. This is not, I don't know, Bumble. This is iTalki. It's like a language platform. It's not like a dating app. They're like making like a little, like, like in a little confusion, because, but yeah.
It's so chill. Like, iTalki is so chill. There's nobody policy in you. Like we can barely tell, like because it's an international platform, like we cannot.
Yeah, it's a huge platform. So
you cannot force like a jurisdiction. I can't say that. A jurisdiction. Jurisdiction.
Redirection? No.
You know, like the law, you can't force a law onto somebody because, like, if I'm from Canada and then he's from Germany, then whose country is taking care of the harassment policy?
Okay, got it.
So
got it.
The way people get away with stuff is, you know, like there's no consequences. And the worst thing that happens to you is that you get blocked, you create a new profile, just like Tinder, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the same.
Like the worst class that I've gotten was a guy who was completely high. I didn't know he took drugs. I did not know, but I learned it afterwards as we went through the class. He was drugged, and you know, like he was on his bed or his couch, and I was also on my couch, like, you know, like trying to carry on with my French class. And
yes,
I don't think he was trying to be inappropriate, but it just slipped because he was drugged. So he started saying,
yeah.
"Are you in your bed?" And I was like, no, I just told you I was on my couch. Why? What's the matter? He's like, I think you're in your bed. And I'm like, no, this is my couch and it doesn't matter. Like, what's the relevance with our lesson? And he's like, because I think I can't imagine myself being next to you in your bed because I'm in my bed. And he went on like this. And he's like, and then we carry on. So, you know, it was like on and off. So it was like,
yes, he was like,
yeah,
like getting high and getting normal.
Yeah, like
getting high,
acting
getting
normal. Like, yeah, acting normal, because I think he could somewhat control his mind, but sometimes like it slipped because, you know, you can vision, you know, going like this.
Yeah, like the vision, like getting.
And then he's
different.
like, I think I'm gonna kiss you, and I'm like,
through the
like you can kiss your computer, the fuck
through the computer, like. Wow.
He went on to be like, I think
my
my hand on your butt. Is it nice, your butt? And I'm like, dude. And this is when I knew, like, okay, you're high. Like,
yeah.
You're high.
My God. Oh my gosh. What a great Jesus. Aurelie, you were so strong. Really. Really, because I couldn't give more classes after this. I would get traumatized after this.
This guy, he took a lot of classes with me, and then after this incident, he stopped all of a sudden. But he was so out of character because he's never been on drugs before, and like that, when that happened, I think he might have felt so embarrassed that he stopped taking classes altogether. But for like the first few months, everything was completely fine. So maybe he had a crush, you know, like not saying it, and then he was drugged. So
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I agree. Sometimes it's like maybe it was like a moment, like one hard moment of his life, and he was like, oh, maybe I should try a new thing for my class. You know, let's see what Aurelie thinks. You know, like, I don't think it's a good thing.
I need a little boost.
My God. But my one second. Miga, Cat, fecha a porta, por favor, please. I'm sorry.
No worries.
She doesn't speak English, so sometimes I try to talk with her in English, but she's like, huh? Like, can you take this? And she was like, okay, fine. She's so cute. She's my roommate, and I'm living here like in the center of São Paulo now, so like a new place, you know. But we are like trying to figure out about like you know, noises. You know, it's an apartment, but there's a lot of noises. So she was like making a little noise, and asking her to close the door. But I was about to say, talking about italki. I started like with low price to get like good feedbacks, you know, like to make like good classes, you know. Now I'm like, I had like, I don't know, 43 classes on italki, I guess. And now I'm gonna, you know, my price is gonna be like a little bit high, you know, because otherwise we're not making money, you know. We're just working.
Have you seen because I don't often look at other tutors, but it happened maybe like 5 times since I started just to see how I could compare myself to other prices. But like I've seen people who could teach for like 2,000, 3,000 classes and they still at $15 an hour. And I'm like, why? Do you have a sugar daddy? Like, why? You with your 5 stars and your 2,000, 3,000 classes, like you could easily go up price. So
Yeah,
it's I mean it's giving you a lot of freedom, but it's also, very competitive. I think it depends on the language. I
it
think it's more
is.
competitive for English and Spanish than it is for French. And I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, like for obscure languages, it's even harder to find clients.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
But do you give like more classes like in English or in French on
definitely French.
italki?
I would say it's like 95%
Really?
in French and 5% in English. So, there's a little flag next to your profile, next to your picture. And so you can only
Yes.
choose one flag. And even if you teach several languages, you have to choose like the flag. And so people go with that because it's visual. So people don't realize that they could take like several classes with me. I had 2 cases of students starting with French, finding it too hard because like he was there, I don't know how many language that they're trying to learn, and then they switch back to English with me. And also I was also
Um,
giving different rates for French and English, French being more expensive because I mean my demand was different, and also I felt like
yes.
the tuition for English was higher, so I might as well like
Yeah.
it as expensive.
Yeah, it is, but it is like you are a native speaker, and if and like you can compare like native English speakers on italki, they have like high prices,
Mhm.
they're not gonna have low prices. So you are a native French speaker, so it's normal that you have like a good not a high price, it's not a high price. I think that like it's fair,
Yeah.
it's fair. I think it's fair.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's not that.
if you have students, it means that you still have a market. So there's always like people trying to, some people are attracted by high prices, some people are attracted by, it depends on your budget, but I don't think it changed
Mhm,
a lot in terms of mindset. So when I used to be
mhm.
cheaper, I used to have like more people from China, more people from South America, and then the more I increased, the more Americans I got. Just more Americans and Europeans, like especially like Switzerland, London, a lot more.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Like it's so funny that like I had like more people from Brazil, but I had like a person from Israel. Like I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I had a super cute woman from Italy. She was like 60 years old. She was so cute. So
Oh,
we had
I like
such a
old people.
good class. Yeah, I love them too. They're so cute, and they have so stories to tell, to talk, to show you like, oh, and I went and I spent 1 month. I lived 1 month in Italy. So I was so excited to talk to her. I was like, oh, I lived in Firenze, and I was like trying to speak in Italian with her, and she was like, oh my god, your accent in Italian is so good. I was
Oh,
like,
that's
oh, thank you so much. I was so excited, and we had like a super good class. And I had this student from he's Indian, but he lives in Canada. But besides this, I don't. I just had this, like I gave like classes for like Brazilians, but they're like outside of the country, like
Mhm.
Brazilians that live in, I don't know, Italy, Dubai, yeah, Dubai. Some of them in the United States, but because it's better for them, like about the price is a little bit better for them. But yeah, sometimes teaching and talking can be challenging.
And they would give a
Yeah.
lot of advantages to book you as a class because you actually learn the language. It's not like, when you teach a native language, you don't know why it's like that because you're born in it. Your whole life, it's been logical why you say that.
Yeah.
But once you've learned it and acquired it, like as it is for your experience, like going to the States and immersing yourself, like you know how to learn it. You know how your brain works and you know how the
Yeah.
muscles around your throat and your mouth area changes. So this is
Hmm.
actually something you can transmit. Like this is
Hmm.
like a bigger strength like compared
Hmm.
to native speakers.
Yeah. And something that, oh, 1 second. Someone is trying to call me. Oh my God. people, I always tell people I'm busy, don't call me, and people keep calling me. But but one thing that I learned in the United States, and I feel like it's kind of different to other teachers, is like sometimes I know it's hard for me to translate like from English to Portuguese, and sometimes for me it's like more logical when I make like I have like a body language, so I make movements, like I don't know, like when I say like fast, like look fast, like I don't know, like I don't know, like do, like present, or did, like past, and sometimes I'm teaching a guy, a little guy. His name is Bernardo, and I was teaching him like in, on, and under. So I took, I don't know, let's see, I don't know, let's say this is a box, so I took the box and I was like, oh, let's make the in, on, and under exercise. And it was like, oh, okay, so here, on, and like inside, and under, okay. And I was like, oh, your turn. Oh, on and under. I was like, good job. I was like, oh, that's not, because the movement, I think the movement makes you like, I don't know, to remember a little bit more.
Right. This is like a kinesthetic memory, and this is really good, especially like this is for dancers and people who learn better when they're moving, especially like hyperactive kids. And it's funny because when I took German in school, our German teacher used to do the same thing, but with our heads. So it's like, like on, and you put like your fingers in your mouth, under
Really?
here, and between your hands between your legs. So it's like a little dance onto yourself.
Wow.
And
yes.
this is so effective because then it engaged like the whole body. It's not just like a boring class where you just sit. Like this is actually effective. I like that.
Yeah, I really enjoy this, like the body language, because it's easier for me. And this the international students, like a fun fact about, I used to live in another house, and I had like other roommates, and one roommate one day she was like, and I was like, oh, I need to get ready because I have class, in a few minutes. And she was like, oh, are you going to give a class for who? And I was like, oh, I'm teaching a guy from from India. He's from India, but he lives in Canada. And she was like, are you going to teach a guy from India? And I was like, yes. But does he speak English? Oh, does he speak Portuguese? And I was like, no. And she was like, how come you're going to teach him English if he doesn't speak Portuguese? And I was like, that's the magic that I'm gonna make, yeah, that's the magic, that's the magic that will happen. Yeah, that's the magic. And I was like, when we started classes, he was like, oh, I really like this body language, because it helped me a lot, because he even though he lives in Canada, he has like a really strong accent. Accent is like very hard to sometimes understand. And he was like, oh, this body language helped me a lot, because I can, show with my hands or with my body. Like someday I was like talking about, I don't know, like COVID cases, like let's say. And I was like, oh, the curve like is increasing, it's increasing, and we are trying to decrease, to get like to decrease the curve. And he was like, oh, it really makes sense, for me, like this movement that is that it like increase or decrease, it's better to understand. And I was like, yeah, it's I always want to be as much visual as I can.
Yes, totally.
Because I think that it helps a lot. Not just the beginners, it's not about just the beginners, it's about like the intermediate, advanced. I really like to be like visual, or and with this movement thing. Do you use this with your students?
Yeah, for sure, especially for accents, because we have several accents on the E. So like going up, like happy and sad. So this is accents, and then going up and down, because French tends to be really monotonous. So like I like to, especially for musicians, I don't know why I have an aura of attracting musicians. Like I have a lot of musician students, and so I like, try to do like the metronome to be a very boring person, because in English we speak like, we have the cadence, but in French it's
Yes.
boring. So it's like, imagine you're sleeping.
Like,
but when we look at the classroom settings, there's a lot we don't have. For example, like showing the board, having your notes, and also having the physical presence. Online, you have a lot of things you're missing. So the only thing you can compensate with is body language. So to me, it makes sense that this is how you communicate the warmth. This is how you give support. It's also like, showing and,
yes, showing.
I feel like we're doing it good. We're doing
Yes,
good.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And one thing that I give some tips to my students, and one tip that I just put it here, and I made a video with it's like a trick that you can do. I call like the post-it trick. So like I tell to my students like, oh, you're gonna buy a post-it block, or if you don't have post-it, you can take cut like little like paper pieces, and you're gonna put them in the wall and the door and this places, and you're gonna write down like window, and you're gonna put like window, because when you look at that, like at the thing, you're gonna, oh, this is a window. Or so you're gonna put door in the door, you're gonna put the wardrobe in the wardrobe, TV on the TV,
Can you imagine
table.
You have like like what your roommates are gonna be like, get this
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
and
just like eating your post-it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys are able to do that in your house, because sometimes I'm always making jokes like, oh, talk to your mom, I need to learn English, so I'm gonna put this on the all this post-its at home. But if your mother thinks that you're crazy, you can do another thing. Okay, you can make like you can draw like your house, and this kind of thing, and you can put the names, and you can put in your door, like in your bedroom door, and every time you get out, you're gonna see it. So this is gonna be good for you. And some people are like, oh, this makes total sense, because it's easier for me, and even though I give like English classes for, I don't know, for adults, I'm always telling them like, you can draw, you can write, you can be as much as visual as you can, because it can help you, and I really like this way.
Yeah, the trick that I give them is if they have to learn, like especially conjugation, so like you have to learn it by heart. There's no other way. Just like put that on the wall, like right in front of your toilet, so that when you like instead of looking at your phone, you're gonna look at your chart every morning.
Yes,
you're gonna have to look at it.
That's good. That's a good trick too. I like this trick. I'm gonna use this to my students.
Have you heard the trick about the TH? So you're talking about this, but actually I've heard of this from my English classes when I was a kid. So you take like a tiny piece of paper, like no bigger than this, you put it on your hand, and like when you do like TH, it's supposed to make it float. So if it doesn't fly, it means you're not doing it good. So
oh yeah,
throughout.
It's a good trick.
Yeah.
It's a good trick. Here with my students, I make a trick.
Wait, your audio went off. Oh wait, yeah, it's mute. I think he got disconnected. No, I think your output. He got pulled.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's
A little bit hard.
Wait, yes, it came back. It's back.
Came back?
Yeah, it came back now.
Now, yes?
Yeah.
Yes? Oof. Thank God. But is my audio okay?
Yeah, your audio is good.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So here, I have like a trick with my students. They laugh a lot. It's like it's a sentence that it doesn't make sense even in Portuguese and even in English. So I say like, oh, repeat with me, sopa de massinha, sopa de massinha. But literally in English, in English would be like, I don't know, uh, Play-Doh soup. I don't know, something like this. And people are like, what? Sopa de massinha? And I'm like, yes, sopa de massinha, because you need to put your tongue like almost in the middle of your teeth,
Yeah.
sopa de massinha, and they're like, teacher, but I'm not gonna say that. This is weird. Like, yeah, no, just try at least once, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, 3. Sopa de massinha, 3, and they're like, sopa de massinha, 3, and they're like, oh my god, I said it right. It was like, yeah, that's that's a good trick, because for my students it's hard to say 3, 3, because they always say tree, like
tree.
the tree.
Those,
yeah, they have this difficult, and because I don't know for French natives, but for Portuguese natives, the hardest thing when we are learning is like when we see a word, we want to say out loud like each letter, and in English it's not always that you're going to say each letter. In Portuguese, when we have a word, you listen each letter, but in English it's different, and they're like, oh, how can I say, like, why cannot say like Wednesday, because it's Wednesday. You don't say the D, you cannot hear the D, but they're like, but the D is here. Like, why I'm gonna say the D? And I was like, I don't know. This is the language.
I know. Just
this is a fact,
Don't ask questions.
Yeah. Please don't ask questions, please. No, just kidding. But sometimes they don't, they want, and I was like, I know you want to say Wednesday. I know from bottom of your mind, I really understand you, but we cannot say Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Okay. And they're like, even though there's a D in the middle, and yes, even though there's a D in the middle, let's pretend that the D doesn't exist. And they're like, okay, fine. I'm gonna put I put the button on top of the D, and like the D disappeared. Okay, so now you're not gonna say the D. Okay, fine. Wednesday, good job. It's so funny. I really love this interaction between my students. There's we need a lot of energy, because we need to always need to have to give like the better class. We always want to give the better class, the best material, the best method. So this kind of jokes, it makes the things easier to deal, even though they have like, oh my god, this grammar thing. Oh, teacher, I don't understand this. Don't, doesn't, how can I do does, go, goes, how can I use I don't know, teacher. Okay, fine, let's start from the beginning. Okay, let's go, let's make a really little review here, and we can go ahead. But I really enjoy this interaction, this between students and me. And what's the best part for you to be a teacher, the interaction, the materials, the freedom? What do you enjoy more in as being a teacher?
Battery. Honestly, it's a mix of everything. The first thing that drew me to italki was definitely the flexibility of schedule, because it was my side hustle. I had a real job at a hospital. I was doing research. So I liked that I could choose my own hours.
Wow.
That was like one of my first requirement is that I didn't want to just, take a second job at a restaurant being a waitress. And I'm like, I have a master's degree and I should be doing research. I don't know how I could make money on the side, but still have flexibility if I wanted to take my weekends off and not have to, report to a boss every single time I breathe. So it was that I liked. And then after, like, it's been almost 2 years that I've been on Italki, and I think, so you said you like beginners. To me, it's the opposite. I like advanced people because I like correcting more than I like teaching. I think having the correction be like, you know what, your last tutor did a great job, but actually you could improve by doing this, because then it becomes a bigger complexity level, because they're not all trained by French teachers from France. Sometimes it's Canadian, sometimes they had American teachers, so you had to go over. And I think it's more unique because everybody's so different. So I think beginners, to me, it frustrates me a little bit sometimes to repeat myself, like, this is the conjugation, this is how the pronouns are, and it becomes less personal. But when you become advanced and have all these conversations, I got really interested in culture, because the fact that you could speak from, like, with people from all around the world, I noticed that, there's not so much racism in the end. Like, in my head, I got with my personal experience that the discrimination is real, but then you go on Italki and you see, like, all these beautiful, curious people who just want to learn about each other's languages or culture, and they want to travel so bad. And this gives me faith, like, back into humanity, that we're not just all, stereotyping people, being superficial, judging people based on their skin color. Because to me, a lot of times, especially in the States, they're all like, where do you come from? And I'm like, from France. And they're like, no, it's impossible, you Asian. So I've had that talk like so many freaking times. They're like, well, but then if you die, then your carbon footprint will show like genes from Asia. They're not going to show anything from France, so you cannot be French. And I'm like, do you want to see my passport? Like, it makes no sense. It's not where you were born to find what you are. I think it's in your heart. Your home is in your heart. Your identity is how you find yourself. And I feel like I haven't had that so much on Italki, because they understand that if you want to learn a second language, it means already that they have understood that you have different identities. You don't just have one culture, one hometown. You have to, blend several identities, because learning several languages is also accepting several cultures, and also others and their differences. So this is what I like the most, is the fact that you don't get judged so much based on how you look like.
Yeah, when I was in the United States, I felt the same thing. But what they don't realize is, like, if, like, Native Americans, they are not white. If you are white and you live and you were born in the United States, guess what? You're not a Native American, even though you were white, but people, they don't get it, they're like, I heard like the worst things ever about my country. Like, do you guys have highways in Brazil? Like, really? That you have like highways? Like, oh really? Oh, because they think like here, like everything here is a jungle. They like in their minds, everything here is a jungle. Like I'm oh, this is my friend monkey, this is my monkey friend, and we are hanging out together here now in the middle of the jungle. Like they think like that, like, oh, I didn't know that you guys have highways in Brazil. Or, oh, yes, look, the best. Oh, are you from Brazil? Yes, I am. Oh, now I can, you can teach me a little bit of Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I speak Portuguese. How come you're telling me? Oh, but people are like, no, but you need to give a discount to them because Brazil is in South America and they have like another like Peru, like Chile, like Colombia, and other. And I was like, it doesn't matter. They need to learn the culture. They need to learn the culture of other countries' culture. It's not all about United States. You need to know a little bit, to understand that we don't speak Spanish, we speak Portuguese, and is a Portuguese different from Portugal. It's different from Portugal. It's not the same.
I know, it's like like people coming up to me on the streets and started speaking to me in Chinese. It's like all Asian people have to speak Chinese. Like, this is so rude. Like, I've also had people, like making kung fu moves in front of me and be like, what should I do? Should I clap? Like, thank you for showing me kung fu.
Really? Oh my! I'm sorry. Like we say in Brazil, Camila will watch this and she will love. And my friends too. Like we say in Brazil, we say in Portuguese, rindo com respeito is laughing with respect. I'm laughing with respect.
This is so
yeah. Hi, Camila. Laughing with respect. Total respect, okay?
No, I'm all about that. I think this is so important to be able to joke about things that you want, like, as long as you're respectful. I so agree.
Yes.
But we cannot just be like, okay, we can't say anything. With the cancel culture, we can't say anything anymore. It's important.
Yeah, I know.
To be able to make jokes, but it's so important to not hurt.
Yeah, but people are like trying to make kung fu moves for you. I'm like, what the heck is that? Oh. What's the point? Okay, I'm gonna kill you now. Like,
and it's like they think they're funny, and then I'm like, yeah, what do you think you're doing? Like, you're making a fool of yourself. I think you're the one who's a bouffon. You're such a bouffon. Like,
yeah, and I was watching. Oh my God. I was watching a movie, I just remember now, and there was like an Asian girl. I don't remember from where, but she was like, she was near some American guys, and to call her, they're like, hey, Lucille, hey, just because she was Asian. It was like, what the heck? You really think that she's gonna, hey, Lucille? Like, are you really sure that the girl will answer you because you're calling her Lucille? Like, she's not the actress. So, like random guys calling her Lucille. Hey, Lucille. Like, really, that you guys doing this now? Like, so it's crazy.
So sure. But yeah, there's a lot of, I think, I don't want to stereotype America or the United States at all, but it's true they have less of a culture of traveling. So everything that they have, they think is the best. So it's like we have the best, we have the best landscapes, we have the best food, high security. So there's no point in like going visit other countries. And I think it's too bad that their school, their system, or their parents don't encourage them to, to travel more, because I get that traveling is expensive here in Europe, because you can just, take a car, go for 2 hours, and you find yourself in a new culture, in a new language, and you have to adapt, and it's a lot of fun because it's very different from what you have. But I feel like there's this diversity from state to state, that they have their own identity, and it's super cool that it's this giant continent, like being one country.
It is
different at the same time. But in the end, for them, like going to Florida and Disney World, it's their vacation. And I'm like, I guess it's fun, but like, are you really learning about culture?
Yeah. And like I'm gonna talk about two situations. The first one is like, I was reading yesterday. I was like talking to, like, having a class with a student, like an advanced student, and we were reading like about like tourists and travelers, the differences. And the article was talking like 75% of US citizens, they don't own a passport because they don't think it's
necessary.
It's necessary. It's not necessary for them.
But it's
and
like,
I was like,
it's so sad, but it's like, even in school, when you ask the kids, why do you learn Spanish in school? And then they're like, I don't know why I need to know something else more than English. I can get by with English. Why do I need to learn Spanish or any other language? It's the saddest thing.
Yeah. And like the second thing is like, there's some books, like, I'm not even lying. There's some books. I think this happened in the past. I don't know if it's happening now, but there's some books from some American books, like geography books, that they say that Amazon forest is in the United States. Amazon forest that
Because of
is here in Brazil. They say that in the night, and they believe
maybe
that's
they
the
think
worst
Amazon,
point.
you know, Amazon the company. Amazon
Yeah, you know, like, and they're like the geography, you know, like the whole forest, like they put it in another place, and I was like, what the heck?
where is it?
Where,
Like which
where is it?
in?
We lost the Amazon forest. I was like the Amazon River and everything, you know, and the other thing, like some Brazilian. I don't know if you heard. Have you ever heard about Omigo?
No.
Well, Omigo is a platform that you can talk to strangers, like really, like completely strangers. Like they put you to talk like in front of, you know, strangers, and some Brazilians were talking to Americans, and then when they started to talk, the Brazilians were like, I have a question for you, for the American. Oh, okay, you can ask me anything. All right. Can you tell me some from some countries? Can you tell me countries names from countries from America? Countries from America. Yeah. Yeah, America. Yeah, countries from America. And they're like, oh, okay, fine. So Florida, California, and the Brazilians were like, countries from America, and they're like, okay, New York, Washington D.C., and they're like, I'm talking about countries because America is a continent, it's not a country. And they just like turned off the video because they don't have a.
It must be on purpose. Don't you think? Like, it must be on purpose. Like, it has to be a joke.
Yeah, but they made like a lot of time with different Americans, and they said the same thing. You know, they really think that America is a country and nothing else. You know, like, oh no, there's no South American, or no, there's no South America.
I know it
doesn't exist.
A lot of Canadians, actually. So when you say, "Oh, Americans think like this," and blah blah blah, and we're like, you know, we're also in America. This is North America, but what you're talking about is the United States. It's not us.
Yes,
we don't do that.
Yes,
shit.
yes, yeah. And I feel like I want to go. I want to go to Canada so bad. I have friends in Canada, not just Camila, but I have other friends too, and I want to go to Canada because they say like, oh, it's a really good country, you know, and you are very welcome. You feel very welcome when you are in Canada. Is a safe place, you know, and I really want to.
Like Italki, but in real life, people are so nice, so open-minded, but there's also some creeps. So.
like any other places, like any other country, you know.
I know there are creeps everywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're the creep. They don't leave us alone, you know. Creeps, they will never leave us alone. But I really wanna go to Canada. But my main point with Canada is cold, because
you know what? Yesterday it snowed. Like April Fool's Day yesterday, it snowed. I'm not even kidding.
No, I don't. I had a hard time in the United States because of the snow, because I was like refusing to wake up like 1 hour early to like just to shovel the whole snow to get out of the house. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. You know, I cannot deal with this.
It hurts your soul. It hurts your bones. It hurts your soul.
Yes. I was feeling so good. I was like, I don't wanna see snow in my life anymore. I don't. And when I was there, and I was like, you know, making stories, you know, Instagram stories, and my friends, they're like, if you, they're like, they have a joke like, oh, if you want to scary Fran, just say the word snow, and you're like, ah, because I hate snow, really. I hate snow, and I was like, I was always on my stories like, oh, you guys say that, oh, look this snow, beautiful when it falls down. Oh, it's really beautiful when it falls down. But when you have to deal with this every single day, you're gonna think about it if it's really amazing and if it's really beautiful, because you don't want to leave your house early because you need to shovel the whole snow, not just from your car but from your driveway, from everything. You need to you need to be able to get out of your house, so you need to shovel everything. So I'm like, that's the only thing that it makes me think like, oh, I don't know if I want to go, like, even though like in the summer,
honestly, since
what
you could hibernate, because since I started like just going full time online, like when you don't have an excuse to go out, you just don't go out. And that's why I wanted a dog for the longest time, but I'm like, but then should I just abandon the dog in the winter because I don't want to go outside? Like, no. You know what I was thinking? You know what I hate so much? Honestly, it's the snowflakes coming into your eyes. That shit hurts.
Yeah.
I wanted to get like an astronaut helmet to just protect my head. Put that in a bubble and just be like, okay, I'm protected. And then I'll just put to my hypothetical dog a little bubble on his head.
Yeah. My God, dog. And the point is, the dogs, like, I don't know why, but they love snow, right? They love to play in the snow. They make a mess and they get in the house full of snow, because I was in an American host family and the dog was like a huge dog. And the dog used to make a mess like outside, and they got in the house and made a mess. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dog, don't do this to us. Oh my God, it's making a mess, and snow and water, and it was crazy. That's why I don't like snow. But maybe one day I am, I am I am brave enough to go to enjoy the Canadian winter.
But I think after mid-May you're safe. You could still take your flight after
mid-May.
Until like late in the fall, because we have the Indian fall. It's very pretty with the green, yellow, red leaves. Like, it's really, really bright. It's so pretty. So just come around between like mid-May to maybe November, and then you'll be
okay.
safe. Yeah.
Okay. Mid-May to December. Now I got it. I gotta take notes. I'm gonna take notes, because I really want to enjoy. I really want to enjoy time. And I really want to meet you in person, because I really love our time together. It's so good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on this podcast episode. It was such a pleasure having you and seeing you. And honestly, it couldn't have been better. I'm so happy.
Yes, I feel the same. I feel the same. And you can call me whenever you want, because I'm always available for you. For you, I'm available. For people, and I talk. But for you, I'm always available. Okay. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for this amazing experience and this amazing opportunity.
Yes. Do you happen to have a last piece of advice for listeners?
Yes, I do. I always tell this to my students. Okay. But I want to share this thought with you guys. So my advice is, let your ears get used to the language, But how we can do this? Like, we have like obvious ways, oh, teacher, I'm gonna watch a movie, or I'm gonna watch a series. I know you love Netflix and you want to watch all day long. I know that, but not just this. It's with like podcasts, in different, you can try to find other podcasts. You can try to find, YouTube channels related to, I don't know, I like makeup, so you can try to find makeup YouTubers and they talk about this topic or that topic, about games, and you can listen to them, and your ears can get used to the language, to English. And this is going to help you, it's not like an obvious thing, you can work in topics. It's almost like a series or a movie, but it's more specific about like what do you want to learn, and what do you like, It's not just, I don't know, because when I started to learn, I started watching Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you know Grey's Anatomy, but I love Grey's Anatomy. But sometimes like the medical, the medical vocabulary sometimes is hard to understand, because it's very specific. But when you talk about like, YouTube channels, they are talking about like, in a simple way, about the topic that you like, and you can let your ears, get used to the language, and this is going to help you a lot, so this is the advice. And another advice that I have is never give up, because you guys can do it. You guys rock. And let's talk English always.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for those precious advice. I hope it's going to inspire people, and I will definitely post Franciele's link to her YouTube channel and also to her italki profile, so don't hesitate to listen with her. She's amazing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I honestly hope to see you for a second episode. This was so much fun.
Yes, please. Let's make another episode. I'm already excited again.
Okay, see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.